Our next guest has spent her entire life encouraging women to be confident, but behind the scenes, Susannah Constantine was hiding a secret.
Well, for almost 30 years, Susannah's been battling crippling anxiety, and she's here now to talk about that. Firstly, thank you for talking about it, because every time we do talk about depression, anxiety, it really helps people, because people feel very alone.
So
Did you
true.
feel alone?
Yes. And I think that also I felt that, you know, who am I to feel like this? I'm so lucky, I've got a family, I've got a roof over my head, I've got a husband who loves me, I've got 3 gorgeous children, I have a great career. What have I got to be anxious about? And in a way, that almost made it worse, because I was trying to put a tag on it and I couldn't find
a
anything
reason
to identify.
I mean, for instance, are you anxious this morning?
Yeah, I woke up with that snowball in my stomach, which is slowly starting to melt. So kind of usually by about 11, 12, it's gone and I'm okay.
Let me ask you, it's interesting that you described that, and I think a lot of people will identify this. This is often around your, what's called your solar plexus, at the top of your tummy, bottom of your rib cage. Do you ever have treatments? Do you ever have, I mean, do you think you can physically, say, massage that away?
Well, I think you feel that you could do that, because it is like a physical feeling. But no, for me, I don't think that's the case at all.
When would you say anxiety, you were aware of being anxious in your life? Does it go way back to childhood?
Yeah, way back. I mean, I'd wake up as a child every morning, sort of drenched in sweat. And that came from looking back now, and this is something I only realised very recently, that my mother was manic depressive, and I guess I'd wake up every morning wondering scared of how she was going to be that day. So there was that feeling of uncertainty and abandonment. When am I going to be abandoned to her illness that day? So I guess it stems from that.
And then boarding school?
And then boarding school I hated, and I had terrible anxiety, never slept. But I didn't know it was anxiety then. I just thought it was homesickness. I just thought I'd...
Well, nobody talked about it, did they?
But then also, as Susannah's saying, she's finding it very hard. What do you talk about? What is making you anxious? She can't sort of pin it down. One of the things I think as well is anxiousness is contagious. So there was your mother. She was feeling it. You feel it as well. Ruth is quite an anxious person. I never used to feel it, and I would pick it up from you. In certain occasions,
but I think you can be anxious about something, and then there's crippling anxiety. I mean, how bad did it get for you in terms of, you know, on the surface, as you said, very, you know, successful television career, doing those amazing programmes with Trini, encouraging women to be confident, and yet you weren't feeling it. So how did you hide it? How did you get up every day and go and do that?
I don't think I've ever been crippled by anxiety, but there was certainly a period in my life where I'd wake up in the morning and I'd, let's say, take the children to school, and I would pray that my car would be driven into by a lorry or something.
Really? So
that I could put an end to it all. And but it was just, you know, it was a thought that flashed through my mind. So I wouldn't say I've ever been crippled. And the way... But
not crippled, but you wanted to end your life because...
Well, I say that, you know, that sounds that is over dramatic. It was just...
It's not if it's how you felt.
Yeah, but it was just a flash. It was at that moment, something take the pain away, and then it would go.
Did you talk to anybody, you know, your children, your husband, a counsellor?
No, because I've kept it in all my life, because for me it was a very personal thing, and
almost not serious enough, because you were able to function.
Yeah, because I was able to function, and so I started doing things for myself, and, you know, I realised that when I was drinking alcohol, if I had a hangover the next day, it would make it so much worse, so I stopped drinking 5 years ago. I now eat really healthily. I've taken steps to help myself. I haven't really sought professional help as such. Because I think it's got to come from, I believe it's got to come from within you.
So when you wake up in the morning, as you did this morning, with the snowball, the tight snowball, and you know what the day ahead is going to be for you, what do you do at that moment?
I now look at it as a haunting, and I look at it as this kind of, the ghost of anxiety has come to visit me, and it's going to pass. So intellectually, I know that's the case. I know it's going to pass. It's not going to stay with me. Every morning I wake up and list all the things I have to be grateful for.
In your head?
In my head, which goes, you know, it's a very long thing, very long list that I have of things to be grateful for. And I use it as a motivator now.
But isn't part of your problem, Susannah, that you are such a high achiever and maybe you can't see that? The things that you've done, the things that you've achieved, the businesses you've set up, TV career in America, you know, a writer, a broadcaster, fashion designer, whatever. You may not see that as being extraordinary, but with that comes extraordinary pressure, perhaps.
I don't see that.
No.
You know, it's interesting you say that. I really don't. It's like I will do something. So, you know, I wrote my first novel. It's done. That's in the past. I'm already looking towards the next thing. And you're right. I think that we're all similar in that way. You know, people who suffer anxiety, the people I know who suffer from anxiety, are highly achieving individuals. And I think it's you can use it to your advantage to push you.
Because people might be interested, you know, say strictly, for example.
Yeah.
You think, well, if you're an anxious person, if you suffer with anxiety...
I don't know why I did that. I mean, it was, without question, the most frightening thing I've ever done.
But do you feel you need to always push yourself to say, I won't let anxiety beat
I
me?
do. You're exactly right. It's like I want to give two fingers to it and say, you know, it's kind of like smothering it, trying to smother it with activity, and that actually isn't a good thing to do. You need to, you know, I've learnt to sit with myself, to sit with my anxiety, and just listen to it and not try and fight it. And I think, you know, again, that's helped me a lot.
So accept it in a way.
Yeah, accept it. So it's haunting. It's my anxiety ghost, and it will pass.
Could I just say, in all sincerity, the anxiety both of you felt in Strictly surely was nothing compared to what Anton had to go through.
You know what?
In comparison,
you are.
You know, and I think before you feel sorry for yourselves, feel sorry for that poor man.
Excuse me, your wife did extremely well.
What? He looked at my wife, then he saw you, and he went, 2 years in a row.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
We love you, Anton.
Yeah, we do love you, Anton.
We love you, Anton.
Did you know, when you talk about high achievers, I think that demonstrates this way. Maybe you end up cleaning your house from top to bottom and you have great expectations on yourself. It's a fascinating subject. And you say you never sought professional help. Susannah, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Make a point of bumping into her in the corridor.
No, I will. And I just want to say that, you know, there's lifestyle anxiety, you know, and there are people who are really struggling.
Yes.
And that's very different to what
But it's everybody's
what I feel.
truth. You
Yeah,
know,
it is
yours.
everyone's truth.
It's everyone's
You're right.
truth.
Yeah.
And the truth is, now the two of you can dance. As well, on top.
Don't
I'm just saying.
Can't wait to see you on the dance floor.
That will be the day.
Eamonn.
Let's see you do it, you know.
Talk about anxiety. She would start her first night on, and it said, and now please welcome to the floor Anton Tobek and his dancing partner Ruth Langsford doing the light flandango, whatever it was. And I looked up at her, and she was like this. She was blowing as if it was in a bag. So I thought to myself, I looked at my son, and well, I can't tell you, viewers, what I said to my son, but basically it meant we're going nowhere with this. But anyway, nowhere went on for 8 weeks. But there we go. Thank you for your sympathy.